Have you ever noticed how hard it is to sit in silence these days? No phone, no scrolling, no music, no podcasts, just stillness. Within seconds your fingers itch, don't they, to check the notifications. Your brain begs for something, anything to fill the space. That discomfort you're feeling is not just boredom, it might be a symptom of something far deeper: dopamine addiction. Anyway, in this video, we're going to break down exactly what dopamine addiction is, how it creeps into your daily life without you even noticing, and how to reclaim your brain before it's completely hijacked by distraction and overstimulation. So, what is dopamine? Let's get one thing straight first, right? Dopamine is not evil. In fact, it's essential to your survival. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter, a chemical messenger that your brain uses to communicate with itself. It plays a critical role in things like motivation, focus, learning, movement, even your mood, anticipation of pleasure. And contrary to popular belief, right, dopamine isn't what you feel after you get the reward. A lot of people think that, don't they? But it's actually what makes you chase the reward in the first place. It's the wanting molecule. So for example, right, you hear your phone start going off, dopamine. You anticipate that favourite snack, that sugary snack that's in the fridge or the cupboards, dopamine. You see a notification from someone is someone you like, dopamine. See, it's not the pleasure itself that lights up your brain, it's the anticipation of it. And that's why dopamine is such a powerful chemical. It's what keeps you moving forward. It's how we're wired to survive. But the problem is, right, in today's society, dopamine is everywhere, all of the time. So let's look at dopamine addiction. You know, dopamine addiction, it isn't like a traditional drug addiction. You're not addicted to dopamine itself. You're addicted to the behaviours that release it in excessive amounts. So I want you to sort of like think of it like this, right? Your brain is designed for short bursts of dopamine. Like the kind you'd get from, I don't know, solving a problem or having a meaningful conversation. But now, right, now we've created an environment where dopamine is constantly available in unnaturally high doses. You know, you're scrolling Facebook or TikTok or Instagram, dopamine. That new Netflix episode autoplays, dopamine. That red notification bubble on your phone, or whatever colour it is for you, dopamine. Junk food, fast shopping, clickbait, headlines, booze, chocolate, sweets, viral videos, it's all dopamine. You know, knocking one out or flicking your bean to porn, dopamine. You know, your brain is literally being bombarded, right? And because the brain is efficient and always looking for shortcuts, it starts to actually prefer these quick, easy, artificial sources over real, meaningful effort. You become conditioned to start chasing dopamine hits, you know, instead of actual satisfaction. And that's when the cycle actually begins, the dopamine feedback loop. You feel bored, anxious, or uncomfortable. So what do? You reach for stimulation, social media, food, booze, porn, drugs, video games. You get a dopamine hit, brief pleasure, temporary escape. Your baseline drops. The more you indulge, the less pleasure you're going to actually get from it. A lot of people don't know that. You start to feel a lot worse afterwards, and that just leads to more cravings. And over time, your brain becomes desensitized. So the things that you used to give you joy, like reading, going outside, talking to people, now feel boring. You need more intense stimulation to feel anything. And this is how the addiction forms. And do you want to know the worst part of it all? Most people don't even realise it's happening. That's the sad state of it all. Because this type of addiction is socially normalised. In fact, it's actually rewarded. So, how do you know if you're caught in this cycle of dopamine addiction? Well, here are some common signs. Compulsive phone checking, even without notifications. Feeling bored, anxious or restless without stimulation. The inability to focus on deep work or boring tasks. You know, constantly switching between tabs, apps, or needing more and more and more stimulation to feel normal and okay. You start to lose interest in the things that used to bring you joy. Using stimulation to escape uncomfortable emotions. Feeling guilty after binging on content, food or screens. If this sounds familiar, right, let me explain. You're not broken. You are not broken. You're just overstimulated. And you're not alone. This is virtually everybody. Why? Because modern life feeds dopamine addiction. And let's be honest, we live in a dopamine saturated society. Tech companies actually hire behavioural psychologists to engineer apps that hijack your reward system. Did you know that? It's quite sinister actually, isn't it? But it's true. Food scientists design snacks that melt in your mouth just enough to keep you eating. Algorithms show you exactly what triggers you emotionally. It's not just poor habits, it's a system designed to keep you hooked and enslaved. I'm sorry, but it is. But we weren't built for this shit. Our brains evolved into a world of scarcity where food, novelty and stimulation were actually rare. Now we live in a fucking abundance of it all. But our wiring hasn't caught up, so we're literally drowned in a sea of dopamine, a dopamine river. So do you want to know actually how to escape the dopamine trap? Well, do you want to know the good news? You can reverse it. You can rebuild your natural motivation, focus and joy. But it starts with rebalancing your dopamine system. Here's how. So here's the first step, right? Just do a dopamine detox, aka a reset. A dopamine detox, it's not about removing dopamine itself, because you can't do that. You'd be dead without it. It's about removing artificial high dopamine behaviours for a short period, maybe 24 to 72 hours. And that means just literally unplugging from it all. Unplug from social media, unplug from Netflix, TikTok, stuff like that, junk food, alcohol, drugs, sugar, porn, digital overstimulation, video games, even multitasking. During a detox, focus on low dopamine, high meaning activities. Go for a walk in nature, read books. Two of them are both my favourites as well. Journaling your thoughts, I'm starting to do that, I'm becoming more better at that. Meditation, that's been part of my life for quite some years now. Highly recommend it. And doing nothing, literally sitting in silence. Because I tell you what, going on dog walks and sitting in silence is where I had the ideas to be a content creator, to be a mindset coach, which is eventually what I want to do, and some subconscious storytelling, which is coming down the pipeline. So stay tuned for that, folks. But anyway, it's going to make you feel uncomfortable. Your brain will resist. It always will. And that's the point. You're teaching it to recalibrate. So about recalibration, number 2 is to rewire your brain with real rewards after the detox and slowly introduce intentional, meaningful habits that provide a healthier dopamine response. Practice more exercise as well, because movement increases dopamine naturally and improves the long-term mood. Deep work as well. Focused, uninterrupted work creates flow states that are incredibly rewarding. Let's look at creative projects. If you're into art, writing, content creating, music, or just building something, crafting with your hands. Focus on real relationships as well, like the authentic connection, because that releases oxytocin, which literally balances dopamine. Look at healthy eating as well. Eating whole foods, they regulate your dopamine and sensitivity. Make sure you get enough sleep, because sleep deprivation actually fucking wrecks your dopamine receptors. Trying to get at least 7 hours sleep a night. Because the goal isn't to eliminate pleasure, it's to train your brain to enjoy real life again. We've all forgotten how to do it. So number 3 is to build boundaries with tech. Technology is a tool, and you use it, don't let it use you. Because if you don't control it, it does literally control you. You've got to set digital boundaries. Use apps, I've heard of some like Freedom, Forest or Stay Focus, to block distractions. Schedule dopamine 3 hours each day. Turn off non-essential notifications. Put your phone out of reach during deep work or when you're working on yourself. And delete apps that you don't truly need. Just keep asking yourself all the time, is this nourishing me or is it comfortably numbing me? Number 4 is to learn to sit with boredom. And this is the hardest and most healing practice of all. Because modern life treats boredom like an actual disease, doesn't it? Oh, I'm bored, I need something to do. But boredom is actually the gateway to creativity, presence and clarity. Because when you allow yourself to sit in silence without stimulation, your mind begins to process emotions, ideas and memories that have been buried under noise. And that's where insight happens. That's where healing happens. That's where forgiving yourself happens. That's where transformation begins. And that's how I learned how to create my full-time purpose as well. So I know it sounds weird, but create the boredom on purpose. Just schedule a time where you do nothing. Go for a walk without your phone. Sit on a bench or sit on your chair and let your thoughts wander, even lay in your bed. It's uncomfortable at first, but if you stick with it, you'll find a part of yourself you actually have probably forgotten. So anyway, I want to wrap this up, right? You're not lazy, you're not overstimulated, and if you've been struggling to focus, stay motivated or feel excited about life, it's not because you're lazy, weak or broken. It's because you're living in a world that's constantly tugging at your dopamine from every single angle. But you, right, you can break the cycle. You can take back control. Might not happen overnight, but step by step. Start with awareness, cut back the noise and find joy in the simple. And slowly your brain will remember how to be still, how to be focused, how to feel alive again without needing the next hit. Anyway, I want you to reclaim your attention, and do you know what? You'll actually reclaim back your life. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you next time.